When we look at the artificial intelligence and data analytics space, there is no question that these are two industries who are going to be growing for the next decade. And over these past couple of months, the reason people have said, I'm done with Palantir, is now making some people question whether that was a right move. However, in this video, I'm not going to call people out on selling their Palantir shares because I know this probably will be a big lesson for them. But what I want to do is share the Palantir news over the past couple of months, a tip that can be learned from Palantir this past quarter, as well as what I'm doing with the company right now. When we consider the people who sold out both major investors like ARK Invest and several YouTubers, one of their biggest complaints was their 13% year-over-year revenue growth on their government segment. This part of their business is their largest revenue generator, so to only grow 13% definitely wasn't what people wanted to see. But what I don't think investors considered is that government revenue is cyclical. Now, I need to specify that there is a massive difference between cyclical and seasonal. Seasonal effects happen within a year, whereas cyclical effects could be longer than that. And when it comes to the government contracts, they are dependent on so many different factors, but for Palantir, their product has become so important to the government that as long as they have the money, these deals will go through. And that is exactly what we saw. This is something that Alex Karp was saying in their last conference call, that there were plenty of times where their government revenue was flat, and some other times when they had these huge deals. And so because of the uncertainty, they had to revise their guidance. But if you notice, the team said that this change in guidance doesn't include the possibility for any new major US government awards, and this is where a lot of the news comes in. On September 20th, it was announced that Palantir is ranked #1 in worldwide artificial intelligence software study in market share and revenue. The company being a leader in this kind of growing sector should get any investors excited, but I think the emphasis here is not on them being ranked at the top, but the kind of growth that the IDC or the International Data Corporation gave for the AI space in 2021. They said that the market for AI platform software grew 36.8% last year. How many segments do you know have growth like that? Not only is the space growing, but Palantir has led this growth, and we can especially see this when we look at the commercial revenue growth of 46% and their US commercial growth, which grew 120%. In the IDC report, it was also noted that early adopters reported 35% improvements in innovation and 33% improvements in sustainability by investing in AI over the past 3 years. Here's the thing that I don't think many people realize. In the past couple of years, there were so many events that pointed to the need for AI. We had major supply chain issues, manufacturing, especially in China, was on lockdown, and we are now seeing political tensions. Those who had AI during that time were able to get through the difficult times much easier than those who didn't. And once these companies begin to see how AI is affecting their competitors, they will have no choice but to invest in this space as well. And that is a huge reason why I see Palantir growing tremendously over the next 5 to 10 years. Also on September 20th, Palantir announced that they are growing their partnership with Hyundai Heavy Industries to over $45 million with an expansion into shipbuilding. The key word in all of this is expansion. As Hyundai was starting to see, their company was benefiting massively from their Palantir relationship, and this was a big reason why they wanted to expand on their contract. But here's the thing about this deal that I want you to see. The initial contract was for $25 million, and now it is valued at over $45 million. So the contract almost doubled, and that goes to show how powerful this product is. This was something that I talked about in one of my earlier Palantir videos. The way that I see this is that Palantir is not simply building a product, but an ecosystem. And when we look at a company like Apple, customers did not buy the entire product line all at once. It took some time, and people began adding little by little until before you know it, you have a MacBook, iPhone, iPad, AirPods, Apple Music, iCloud, and now the Apple One subscription. I can see this happening with Palantir's business as well. If we move to September 26th, the Homeland Security Investigations renewed their partnership with Palantir for their case management software to support investigations into human trafficking, drug smuggling, and transitional criminal organizations. Overall, this is a solid contract that is worth almost $100 million over 5 years. But like the previous piece of news, the emphasis in this headline, I believe, should be the word renewed. Palantir's product is working, and the fact that they are renewing deals goes to show how sticky their product actually is. But what does this mean for Palantir? Over time, they will get more and more pricing leverage. If you are the leader in the AI software platform space and you continue to produce great results for your customers, then you will be able to charge a premium as long as the customers' businesses are thriving. Now let's move to September 29th, where the US Armed Army Research Lab extended their contract with Palantir to deliver leading AI ML capabilities across the Department of Defense, which include all the branches of the Armed Forces, Joint Staff, and Special Forces. This contract is worth up to $229 million over 1 year. To put things into perspective, that is just about a quarter's worth of government revenue for Palantir. Now, the part that I believe is important about this deal is that this is an extension of the contract from earlier in the year. So in other words, the US Army is seeing the value of the Palantir product in a short amount of time, and I wouldn't doubt seeing more extensions and renewals over the next couple of years, especially given the political tensions that we are seeing right now in the world. But shifting gears, Palantir and Concordance announced a partnership to power the first fully integrated medical supply chain ecosystem. As I was talking about previously, we had major supply chain issues over the past couple of years, and in certain segments, we are still experiencing these issues. So anyone who has the proper credentials will have access to the ecosystem's live inventory data and supply chain signals, which will help manufacturers, suppliers, and distributors know when they are low on supplies and have the data to make the best decision when it comes to refilling those supplies. Now, one major thought that comes to my mind is who says there won't be more integrated supply chain ecosystems? This could be huge for the global economy, especially when we talk about maneuvering through political tensions and manufacturing stoppages or delays. This could be a huge test for Palantir to see how strong their product actually is. And I believe if they get good results, this could be the start for Palantir to get astronomical contracts in the commercial space. But we are also seeing this in their government segment, because on October 6th, Palantir was selected by the US AMC to support its prognostic and predictive maintenance and supply chain optimization efforts. Now, this deal is another solid contract worth about $85 million over 5 years. And this news in my mind paints a clearer picture into the potential for Palantir, because the focus for this contract is on developing, testing, and deploying predictive maintenance models to improve equipment availability and manage maintenance costs. When we look at the broader picture, how many companies in the world need something similar to this? There are a ton. And that is why I believe that Palantir not only has plenty of room to grow, but these contracts are proving that they will execute on that expansion that many Palantir investors are looking for. Now, the last thing that I wanted to mention is not only are they proving that their government segment is still solid, but they have deals that will last. One of their US government contracts, which was for $53 million, won't have a completion date until 2027. And one thing that Karp really wanted to see is consistency with their government revenue. So that must give the team confidence that their government revenue will continue to grow for the future. So when I look at all these pieces of news, I need to ask the question, if they were in this one for the long term, what happened that made them want to get out of this company? The problem is that many of these investors were basing it off of the quarterly report and didn't trust in the management team's relationships and execution to generate those solid revenues in the government space. Now, I don't want to say that there wasn't enough research, because for a company like ARK, I'm sure that there was a good amount of time spent on this company before they made a position. But I believe what happened with investors, especially on YouTube, is their short-term outlook got in the way of the history of the company when it came to their government revenue, and these renewed contracts are proving that they are holding on to their clients. And this is unfortunate, because I'm sure several people listened to these investors and sold as well, without knowing the cyclical patterns of the government revenue and the team's proven track record. I personally don't want you to fall into the trap of selling based on emotion or what other people are doing. So I've actually made a Patreon. You will not only learn how to find great companies, but you will also have the opportunity to hear my perspective on companies you are looking at to see how I think, so you feel comfortable making the decision for yourself. So if you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description down below. But back to Palantir, when I'm assessing their business, I cannot let a quarterly report be the reason for me to buy or sell the stock. It can be an influence toward my decision, but it cannot be the sole reason. What I saw a couple of months ago is that many people made decisions based off of the quarterly conference call. With that being said, if they continue to underperform on revenue coming out of the recession and into a great economy, then that would make me worried. And that is why we have to look at the AI and data analytics space 3, 5, and even 10 years out. This doesn't mean that I need to have revenue projections 10 years out, but I have to recognize how much this sector is growing, and I would say it will probably be one of the fastest. This is a massive opportunity, and when you consider the fact that Palantir is already ranked the #1 artificial intelligence software platform in terms of market share and revenue, there is no doubt in my mind they will be a leader in this space. Plus, when you think about the kind of people buying this company, they are very intelligent engineers, businessmen, and business women who have either used the products or simply just understand the products at a very high level. When you consider the data analytics space, how many companies want very descriptive data? There is a huge expansion, and I think it will only grow from here. Over time, companies will want guidance when it comes to using data to generate outputs on what are some of the best business decisions. And as we enter into what I believe will be even more confusing times because of political tensions between nations and complex financial problems that we haven't seen in a very long time, it only makes sense that companies like Palantir will become much more popular. And until I see a very strong competitor pop out in this space, it is difficult for me to not see Palantir become a massive company. But I also believe this space is big enough for multiple competitors, and that is something that I don't think many people understand or believe either. This TAM in the next 5 to 10 years is going to be enormous, and I wouldn't doubt seeing at least 3 companies thrive in this space. And this is where I want to draw our focus, which is the Foundry and Apollo platforms. These 2 pieces of Palantir are what's going to drive the company to the next level. We are going to see AI and data analysis start to become the norm in the commercial space. And this is why I believe many people, including myself, have looked at AWS as an okay comparison when it comes to the Palantir's opportunity. Even if the Foundry product becomes half of AWS, which I believe is certainly a possibility over the next decade, that segment of their business could be worth anywhere around $200 to $300 billion, which is crazy when you consider the fact that this doesn't even include Gotham or Apollo, and the company is only valued at $17 billion. Now, I do believe that Foundry could be that big, but it doesn't need to be for this company to have huge gains over time. And this is a big reason why when you look at the major investors, they are investing in the company for Foundry, with Apollo being the cherry on top. Gotham will continue to grow, but not at the pace as Foundry because the commercial space has much more potential. So for me personally, I'm holding this one for the long term. When we think about their products and services in 5 to 10 years, they will be well established. So we will have an idea as to what their track record looks like. Secondly, with building an ecosystem, it takes time for people to really buy in. But once people see that the product is good, which as I said before, many high-level engineers really enjoy the product, these businesses will start buying the products that Palantir offers, which is what we are just starting to see. But even now, they are continuing to innovate by bringing out new products and services, which will impact the company in the years to come. Palantir is in an industry that will change the world, and so there's going to be a roller coaster to get to where they need to be. But I have tremendous confidence in this company, so I'm still adding shares. And with my cost basis in the $10 range, I would love to bring this one down to single digits, and I think I will. When I think about the kind of people who are investing in this company and the fact that now the majority of people are in this company for the long term, plus the company is still able to generate 20% revenue growth in a recession with a huge growth potential in front of them, to me, it's a no-brainer to keep adding this one. But I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, smash that like button down below. That helps this channel in a massive way. Also, I would love to hear your thoughts on Palantir, so let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. That way you are notified when new content comes out. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.